Kwanzaa is a relatively new tradition here in the United States, but for centuries throughout Africa, it's been a celebration of harvest. In America, Kwanzaa is celebrated by African Americans as a week-long holiday. On each of the 7 nights, the family gathers, lights a candle, and talks about one of the 7 principles that reflect the values and concepts of African culture. Well, this morning, we welcome Stephen Niamke to tell us more about Kwanzaa and how people in our community can celebrate this important cultural holiday. Good morning. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Well, I guess we should first start and say that Kwanzaa kicks off this coming Sunday.
Yes.
And so, as mentioned in the intro, it's 7 days. And I think one of the most important parts of Kwanzaa, at least as when I was growing up, that was always instilled in us as children was the 7 principles of Kwanzaa.
Yes.
So let's talk about the 7 principles of Kwanzaa.
Okay. Well, let's start with the first and most important one, which is represented by the black candle here, which is umoja, which is a Kiswahili word for unity, which is the primary purpose of Kwanzaa. Then you go to the red candles, and some people go red to green, or they go red, 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 and then green, green, green. The second day of Kwanzaa, represented by one of the red candles, is Kuji Chagalia.
Say that 3 times fast.
Which stands for self-determination. The third day and third principle of Kwanzaa is Ujima, which is collective work and responsibility. The fourth principle, represented by the third red candle, is Ujamaa, which stands for cooperative economics. The fifth principle, represented by the first green candle, is Nia, which means purpose. The sixth principle, represented by the next green candle, is Kaumba, which stands for creativity. And last but not least, the last green candle, which is the 7th day and 7th principle, is Imani, which means faith.
Now, on each night, you light one of these candles. Is that what happens? And you talk about the principle?
Yes, that's the idea. In my family, we've celebrated Kwanzaa for 30 years, and we do one celebration and go over all 7 principles, just because it's not practical, at least for us, to get together 7 days. So we do all 7 principles in one sitting. But the design is to do 7 days of 7 days of Kwanzaa, with each principle being the focus.
Now, Kwanzaa originated or started in the United States when?
1966.
And was founded by?
Milana Karinga.
And what was the reason or the purpose of having this celebration?
If you look carefully at the principles, I think it speaks to unity. And again, as I said before, the black candle and the first day of Kwanzaa is the most important, umoja. If you look carefully at the principles, I think Dr. Karinga was really trying to do 2 things. Number 1, unify people of African descent. And number 2, to help us recover from the trauma we've experienced as a people. Yeah.
And family is very important in getting involved in this. Is it one person that is overseeing the customs or each night if you're celebrating of the 7 nights, or including everyone in the celebration of Kwanzaa?
Well, it's everyone. You may have one person that kind of facilitates, and usually that would be the elder in the family, but not necessarily. In my family, I've been blessed with the opportunity to facilitate most of the celebration, but it was only because I did a lot of research.
Yeah. Were you the one in your family 30 years ago to say we should celebrate Kwanzaa? Who brought it to your family?
Actually,
because not every African-American family celebrates Kwanzaa.
Right, actually very few, by percentage-wise. I have a brother named Michael, who's one of my heroes, who kind of discovered Kwanzaa at the same time, and the 2 of us kind of did some research, and before we knew it, our whole family shifted from Christmas to Kwanzaa as a primary focus. But the main thing for me was I became a dad, and I wanted my daughter to understand that her history began in Africa, not here, and to have some meaningful connection to these principles and other things about our culture.
It's a beautiful tradition and holiday. All right, well, when we return, we're going to talk about some of the symbolism that you see here. We have a lot here on our table. We'll talk about the symbolism of Kwanzaa as we continue our conversation on this beautiful holiday tradition. Stay with us.